What's happening, everyone? Today I have a really fun video for you. It's actually going to be a tag. I haven't done a tag in, I think, since last year, so I thought about doing this tag because this really cool guy from one of the fragrance groups on Facebook, Michael Veem, aka Michael Wagner, actually came up with this really cool post, and he actually dared us reviewers to do a video not talking about complimented fragrances, but talking about fragrances that garnered the most or the weirdest reactions or funny comments ever. So I thought this would be a really cool tag video to start off and you know, get the ball rolling. So I thought, let me do this video. At the end of this video, I'm going to tag 4 reviewers. Without any further ado, I'm going to give you my top 5 weirdest, funniest reactions I've gotten. Then I'm going to tag these guys. We're going to get this tag rolling. Let's do it. So the first fragrance that got me the weirdest and most, you know, funny comment ever was this little doozy right here. This is Michael Jordan's Legend, which is actually a pretty nice fragrance. It's actually a cheapie. I guess, you know, if this fragrance becomes discontinued, it's actually going to fetch a pretty penny because it is a very nice smelling fragrance. However, this is a pretty potent juice. It's very strong, very compared to the Bond No. 9's New Harlem, which has that, you know, pancake coffee kind of syrupy kind of, you know, vibe to it, lavender. But if you wear this fragrance when it's warm out and you overspray it, I'm telling you, you're in for some weird comments. So needless to say, it was about, you know, it was around June time. It was about 75, 80 degrees out. You know, I took a shower, I was going to work, and I was going to stop at the post office, my local post office back when I lived in New York. And there was this, you know, counter person that I thought was really cute. I wanted to impress that person, so I went on the line, went on her line, wearing, you know, this fragrance, Michael Jordan Legend. I actually dosed myself, and I think I did like 12 sprays that day. So the funny thing is, as I come to the counter, so this is what happened. It was really funny. Her co-worker, this other woman, a little older, shorter hair, looked straight at me and blurted out the words, "Something or someone really stinks in here." And I knew she was referring to my fragrance here, you know, Michael Jordan Legend. So this is one of the ones that got me the weirdest or the funniest comment or reaction. All right, the next one is the infamous, you know, really well known in the fragrance community, one that was a staple and making every reviewer's top 10 cold weather fragrance. Of course, I'm talking about the infamous Musk Ravageur from Frederic Malle. This is a Maurice Roussel composition, one that I love. But the thing about this fragrance is that it has a really pungent and off-putting, you know, clove note up top. And again, if you overindulge on this, you're gonna get some weird reactions. This is exactly what happened. I was actually going into a presentation. I had a meeting and then a presentation that day. It's like a really, you know, fast, you know, engagement for about an hour and a half. But I doused myself in this. I think I did like 9 sprays. So what happens is, you know, most ladies were really twisting their noses. I even got a comment of somebody as soon as I was going up to do my speech, because I was doing a speech that day. The lady really, as soon as I got up and she got a whiff of my scent, she said, "My God, somebody smells like old man in here." So needless to say, you know, my confidence was almost shattered. I had to get up and give this speech. Thank goodness everything was fine afterwards. You know, starting to get into the transition mode. And this fragrance, as it gets to the you know, the dry down, it smells like Cinnabons. You know, the cinnamon, the creamy vanilla really kicks in, and it gets better. But be careful if you're going to wear this. I'd say spray it first, wait for about an hour, then leave, because the cloves up top are really off-putting. So this was a really funny incident that happened to me with Musk Ravageur. Let's go to the next one. All right, so you all know how much I love the house of Amouage. It's one of my favorite niche fragrance houses of all time. You know, Reflection Man was my first, you know, fragrance from that house, which that one is really easy to please. You know, hardly ever, you know, I've gotten a bad comment from that fragrance. I think everybody really loves Reflection Man. It's one of the easiest fragrances to like from this brand. However, it's the total opposite from this one right here. This is Gold Men. This is the older formulation. Now, Gold Man is a fragrance that is extremely animalic, floral. There might even be some aldehydes in here. You know, reminds me a little bit of Chanel No. 5, but it's very animalic. I think they have a really crazy note of, I don't know if it's Castoreum Civet, you know, but it is a very powerful scent. It's one that you do one spray and you are good to go. And I was wearing this fragrance, was at a summer event. It was like a barbecue. My gosh, I was stinking the high heaves. I mean, you know, I was getting some weird looks, and, you know, people didn't know what to say. You know, it was not a fun, you know, episode for me. So just letting you know, this fragrance here, Amouage Gold, I do love it, but it's extremely animalic. It's the most potent animalic. If you think, you know, the Blue Beast interlude is a hard fragrance to wear, try Goldman. You're gonna get some pretty crazy reactions. So Goldman was one that really got me going. That barbecue was really hot out as well. This one now I know better. I only wear in a cold day. So let's go to the next one. Okay, this next one is a funny thing. I don't have the bottle of this one anymore. I got rid of the bottle. Actually, it was a small 125 ml 4.2 bottle of Dior Leather Oud right there. So that's a really crazy fragrance because it has that barnyard oud in it. You know, if you don't like medicinal or really fecal kind of oud, this is exactly what you're gonna get with this fragrance. And the funny thing is, I gave my wife now, but then she was my girlfriend, a sample. And the funny thing is, we're both wearing the same fragrance the day, you know, one of the days we went out for a date, and we were just looking at each other. The car just smelled like somebody had poo-pooed, you know. It was just a really funny thing. And then, you know, I asked her right away, I said, you know, are you wearing the sample I gave you from Leather Oud from Dior? She was like, yeah. It's like, me too. So we're the ones that are stinking. So we started to laugh, you know, when we stopped the car, we actually try to rub it off, but this is a really powerful fragrance that's, you know, monstrous for projection and performance. So if you don't like a fecal, manure-like, you know, oud, stay the hell away from this fragrance because that one is, you know, it's really pungent oud, and it's my least favorite from the Dior Privé line. So that's a funny story on that one now. The last one here, I left the best for last, is one of my favorite fragrances of all time, you know, funny enough, but not for the faint of heart. Again, it has a phenomenal animalic feel here. The notice of that here is really prominent, especially if you have the older formulation like I do. And of course, I'm talking about King Kouros from the Yves Saint Laurent. This is a 1981, I believe, formulation. This is like a really dark juice. I love it. But the thing about Kouros, or King Kouros, which I think, again, is one of the fragrances that's a trendsetter and opened doors for a lot of, you know, animalic fragrances of this genre. It is very daring and very hard to wear, especially if you overindulge. Again, this is another one that I did, I think, 5 or 6 sprays of, and I left the house. And this is, again, another work function, but this time we were going to a restaurant. We're meeting up. We had like a short meeting just to go over some numbers. Then we were gonna eat and just have fun. I think it was like a end of year kind of thing, you know, like a Christmas party sort of thing. Anyway, we went to this really fancy restaurant, and I was getting comments like, you know, something smells like mothballs in here, you know, something really stinks in here, someone's really, you know, got to take a shower, or somebody had their clothes stored away in mothballs and it's really stinking up the place. I mean, I was getting really weird comments, even from the servers. So, you know, I got up, I tried to wash off my arms, but I had it on my clothes, so, you know, I took my jacket off. This is a powerful fragrance. Anyway, my night was almost ruined. You know, King Kouros, I love it, but that's another one. Don't overspray if you have a vintage formulation, and spray a couple sprays, you know, maybe 45 minutes or so before you leave. Wait until it tones down a little bit, because it's one of those really daring fragrances. You know, nowadays, you know, we don't have these crazy, really pungent, animalic fragrances anymore. But, you know, I'm one who really loves those fragrances. I'm coming around full circle. You know, I've tried, you know, indie houses, I've tried, you know, niche houses, and I love these old school fragrances from the 80s, even 70s and 90s. So again, I don't want to go on babbling right now. This is just a tag video, but I wanted to share you these 5 really cool, funny, weird stories I've had with fragrances in the past. I'm going to tag 4 people, 4 reviewers right now, 4 great reviewers to give us, you know, their take on their most weird and funniest comments and reactions they ever got with fragrances. The first person I'm going to tag is the Radiant and Spunky Vavacateur, your tag. Second person I'm tagging is the whimsical and extremely funny Mr. Smelly 77, Dan. You're up, buddy. The third person I'm going to be tagging today, so eloquent and clever, Steven from Redolescence. The last person I'm tagging today is the cool and so entertaining Imitsu from Simply Put Sense. So guys, you are up. Let's continue. Let's get the ball rolling. This is a really cool, fun video to make. Let's get the ball rolling and talk about the most funny and weird comments we've ever gotten in fragrances. And thank you so much, Michael Veen, or Michael Van, I hope I'm not butchering your name, for bringing this to light. Really cool concept, really cool idea to talk about. This is your host, Max Forte. Until next time, stay tuned for a lot more. Keep sharing the passion, spray that bottle, and stay fragrant. I'll talk to you guys later. Ciao.